Sinister stories.
Dante's life was woven with the threads of darkness, each night a tapestry of terrors that he could not escape. As a child, the night terrors were dismissed as mere nightmares, but as he grew into adulthood, their grip on him tightened, dragging him into a waking nightmare that he couldn't shake. Every night was different, but the theme was unchanging. Dante would wake up in his bed, the weight of an oppressive dread pressing down on him. An invisible force seemed to render him immobile, paralyzing his body while his mind raced with terror. He would glance around his room and there it was, the entity, a shadowy figure that seemed to exist in the periphery of his vision. As he lay there, helpless and frozen, the entity would inch closer, its presence suffocating him. A force seemed to pull at him, a malevolent energy that sought to drag him from his bed into a realm of unspeakable horror. And in his paralyzed state, Dante would muster all the strength he could to resist, to fight off the entity that wanted to claim him. Some nights he would hear distant whispers, voices that sounded like relatives calling out to him from beyond the void. Other nights, he would see doorknobs twist and turn, keys jiggling as if the very walls held secrets he could not fathom. But the unifying thread remained, the feeling of being trapped, vulnerable, and at the mercy of an unseen malevolence. One night, Dante's girlfriend Lily stayed over. He welcomed her presence, as her presence often granted him respite from the terrors. But that fateful night, even her comforting proximity couldn't shield him from the nightmare's grip. He found himself once again in his bed, the paralysis rendering him motionless. In the haze of his dream, Dante tried to scream for help, to break through the barriers that held him captive, but his voice was muted, his cries reduced to desperate whispers in the shadows. He turned his gaze to Lily, who lay beside him, hoping to wake her from her slumber and find solace in her arms. As he struggled to inch closer, he realized something was wrong. Lily's face was contorted with fear, tears streaming down her cheeks. Her mouth moved soundlessly, forming the words "help me" over and over again, a haunting mantra that chilled Dante's soul. The realization hit him like a sledgehammer. Lily too suffered from night terrors, and the entity that haunted his dreams had found its way into hers. The entity's power seemed to magnify in the presence of both their fears, its insidious influence threading through the fabric of their nightmares. The struggle intensified as more entities emerged, their fingers stretching toward Dante, their eyes gleaming with malevolence. In the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of a demon-like silhouette, its twisted grin sending shivers down his spine. In a final burst of desperate willpower, Dante managed to wrench himself from the paralysis, his body snapping awake in a cold sweat. He turned to Lily, shaking her gently, and her eyes fluttered open. She looked at him, her gaze haunted, her lips quivering. "Did you see it too?" she whispered. Dante nodded, the weight of their shared torment heavy in the air. They clung to each other, seeking solace in the knowledge that they were not alone in their struggle. As they shared their experiences, they realized that their connection was not only in their waking lives, but also in the nightmares that haunted their sleep. Determined to break the cycle, they embarked on a journey to uncover the origins of the entity that haunted them. Their research led them down a dark path, revealing stories of ancient curses, forgotten rituals, and malevolent spirits that sought to prey on the vulnerable. They discovered there were others like them, so suffered from night terrors, and even described the same shadowy figure that they encountered. As they delved deeper, they learned that their bond was their greatest strength. They were no longer battling these night terrors alone. Someone else understood the dread of going to sleep at every night, armed with knowledge and a newfound determination. They held hands every night to go to sleep, with hope of some solace, a hopeful escape from the treacherous norm. The night terrors did not vanish overnight, but over time they became more manageable. Dante and Lily learned to face their fears together, their shared experiences strengthening their connection. And as the darkness slowly receded, they found solace in the light of their love, standing united against the entities that once sought to tear them apart.
In the quiet suburb of Crestwood, nestled among rows of neat houses, lived a teenage girl named Nyla. Her room was a sanctuary of screens, cables, and controllers. Nyla was infatuated with video games, immersing herself in digital worlds after school and during every free moment on weekends. The glow of her computer screen and the hum of her console were her constant companions, and the friendships she forged were all virtual. Nyla's real-life social circle was small, and she preferred it that way. Her classmates found her reclusive and strange, unable to comprehend her fascination with the pixelated realms she inhabited. She was content, however, with her online companions, sharing victories, strategies, and stories in the virtual universes that had become her reality. One night after an exhaustive 16-hour gaming marathon, Nyla felt her eyelids grow heavy. The glow of the monitor cast an otherworldly light on her face as she drifted into slumber. At first, her dreams were a tapestry of fantastical landscapes and thrilling adventures, the digital worlds she knew so well. But as time passed, Nyla's dreams shifted. She became acutely aware that she was no longer just a player. She was a participant in this digital realm. Despite the lingering sensation that she was in a dream, Nyla's surroundings felt eerily real. Her heart raced as the boundaries between reality and the game blurred. Nyla found herself in the heart of the game, surrounded by towering mountains and ominous forests. The sky, once a vibrant blue, now held an unsettling tinge of crimson. Panic gripped her as she realized she could not exit the game or wake up. The avatars she had controlled now roamed the world around her, and their once familiar faces were twisted into grotesque masks of malevolence. In a desperate attempt to make sense of her situation, Nyla set off on a journey to find answers. She encountered NPCs with vacant eyes, their dialogue now chillingly cryptic. Shadows seemed to move just out of sight, and the wind whispered foreboding secrets. The game had transformed into a nightmare, a sinister manifestation of her obsession. As Nyla's quest continued, the world grew darker, the landscapes more twisted, and the creatures more monstrous. She battled her way through nightmarish dungeons, her heart pounding with every step. Yet the more she fought, the more the game seemed to revel in her torment. Nyla's distress mounted and her resolve wavered. She had to find a way out, to escape the clutches of the game that had become her prison. Every decision she made seemed to lead her deeper into the abyss, and the line between friend and foe became blurred. Just as hope began to fade, Nyla stumbled upon a hidden chamber. In its depths, she discovered a cryptic riddle, a puzzle that held the key to her escape. The walls seemed to pulse with a dark energy, and the answer eluded her grasp. With each failed attempt, the room twisted and contorted, the air growing thick with malevolence. Days turned into nights, and Nyla's determination wavered. Exhaustion and fear gnawed at her resolve, but she refused to surrender to the nightmarish game. Her online friends, the ones she had never met but had grown to trust, rallied around her, offering guidance and support. Through their unwavering encouragement, Nyla pieced together the puzzle, unraveling the riddle's enigmatic code. In a surge of determination, Nyla solved the puzzle, and the room trembled as reality itself seemed to fracture. A blinding light enveloped her, and the lines between the digital and the tangible blurred once more. When Nyla opened her eyes, she found herself back in her dimly lit room, the familiar glow of her screens casting a reassuring light. Tears of relief streamed down her cheeks as she realized she had escaped the clutches of the nightmarish game. Nyla's heart swelled with gratitude for the virtual friends who had stood by her side, even though they were pixels on a screen. She knew that her obsession had nearly consumed her, but the harrowing experience had taught her the value of balance and the importance of the real connections she had neglected. From that day forward, Nyla's gaming habits changed. She still enjoyed her virtual adventures, but she also embraced the beauty of the outside world and nurtured the friendships she had neglected. The memory of her nightmarish journey served as a haunting reminder of the dangers of obsession, and she vowed never to let herself be consumed by a digital realm again. And yet, as Nyla looked at her screens, she couldn't help but wonder, was it truly just a dream, or had she ventured into an alternate reality? a sinister reflection of her own obsession. The line between what was real and what was imagined remained forever blurred, a haunting, open-ended question that lingered in the back of her mind.